considering in the manuals, the Shoninki, it states, you know, try to bring reeds or some foliage that's floating on top of the water onto your face, then come up for air and use those to hide yourself. I also played with that idea as well a little bit, because I used this ghillie, my little fake ghillie net, kind of hid underneath that, and kind of used that as a way to quick come up for air, go along a little bit, come up for air a little bit more, using the cover of some green foliage, and it looks just like another, you know, just another patch of leaves in the water floating on by, but really it's a ninja underneath.
If you go into the water, you can pull up and you can like go right next to this log right here. You can hide beside the log, use the log to de-silhouette your body in the water maybe. Here, an example, alright? Here's my hand, right? Bam. It's like almost hidden. It's only a couple inches I'm sinking my hand in the water. Now, the sand is just barely settled. Now look, when I rustle up the sand, look at that. It's hiding me completely. Again, that's only like a couple inches of like water that I'm putting my hand in, and it hides it completely. So that's what I'm talking about. It's like it really helps hide you as you snorkel along the shoreline.
I think it's just a myth thing. It worked a little bit, but it was kind of hard, so I don't think it was a method desired. Next, the sword sheaths, or sword scabbards, snorkels. First one was real sword, alright? My real sword. Now, why I liked the real sword idea is where the snorkel would have come from, alright? You know, we see these ninja swords with hidden knives in the end, like this, right? Okay? You have a regular sword. I got my sword bag so it hides the blade in the end. So you pull out your sword, you pull out the blade in the end, and now you end up with a hollow tube. Then I used another more long sheath. This one's even longer than this one. I got a short sheath from the real sword. Again, breathing from the bottom, I did not like. This is the one that I drilled the hole right here on the side. If you're wearing your sheath, you're wearing it like this, the hole would be on the bottom. And the hole would be pointing down since it's on the bottom on the back of the sword sheath. No one's going to see it. Just like the hidden blade, you know, no one's going to notice that hole. So if you put the hole here on the tip, someone's going to see the hole. But if the hole's right here and when you're wearing it properly, it's pointing down, they're probably not going to notice it too much. The snorkel application, I liked it a lot better on the side. Again, because then at least I can put my, even though I have my head halfway up, I can turn my body down and I can swim around. Now another thing, this one was really light. I can hold this just in my teeth. Basically, it's better body position. I can get a lot more swimming done, things like that. theory of whether or not it would work better from underneath, like this, as if you were breathing through the exact bottom. I really didn't like, because you have to fight to stay, keep yourself under, and it's harder to do that when you're on your back. When you're on your back, naturally you end up like floating, especially if you're wearing a lot of clothes, stuff like that. But when you're up like this, and you have to do it at the side, either you use reed, bamboo, or the sheath. If it's on the side, it's easy because then you can stay at least halfway face down, turn your head to the side. It's way easier to move along in the water. There are certain types and methods of swimming that allow you to stay underwater so that your limbs don't create a lot of splashing stuff, frog movement, swipe, things like that. When you use those methods along with this coming out the side, it actually ends up being very quiet. Alright, also, types of things. One is using your blowgun, and that's pretty obvious. Everyone knows that. The second one is a flute. A lot of people think that the flute wouldn't be used. If you have a normal playing flute that plays this way, it wouldn't work. But if you use a normal flute that actually plays this way, if you think about it, this end is closed. You breathe through it like this. Like this. North one. And instead of having to fight to hold your nose closed like this when it's to the side, it's easier to put it in the palm and then you can pinch your nose. And you have a hand free to swim, hold your sword, and anchor yourself in the dirt, whatever you need to do.
But then he would like find this, a big old plant hovering right above with a deep shadow. Use that as cover. Then take a nice few seconds, gain your breath, and carry on. Where do you see the snorkel? It's really not that, it's really not that out of place. There it is, guys, look at that. It's just a little broken end piece of stick poking up. Maybe a ninja right there coming up to assassinate. I'm up here on the rise. See what that looks like? You know? Nothing. Big detail I wanted to go over about the snorkel and why you want a broken tip, not a clean cut one, is because I'm pretty sure they would go up next to the branches of plants like this in the water. You can actually come up and wait, go next to the water plants, water lillies or something like that, bamboo sticking up out of the water, and they would slowly slide the stick up out of the water line next to the plant like this, then gain a few breaths, go back down. Very, that's like pretty stealthy right there.
Here probably looks real funny, but it's called the underwater helmet. It looks just like the one from the scrolls. A top wide helmet with a two-way top. This would actually help you way down. Big George will explain it perfectly for me. Using an underwater helmet. He's staying on the bottom. He's not moving his limbs or anything. He's actually just sitting there, holding his nose. Look at that. Legs not moving. There we go. You stayed under for quite a while. I noticed your limbs aren't even moving around. You're not fighting to stay up at all? Or stay down for that matter?
No, puts me down.
Nice.
I like it.
I started playing around with them, and I ended up doing this at first. I just went forward with both feet, and it helped me move along a lot faster. But even then, when you go back and forth with both feet in a walking motion, it actually moved me forward a little bit on each side perfectly. It had a very, very good paddling stroke to it. It moved me like maybe 4 inches every time I moved my foot backward and treaded water backward. It worked. They worked very well to move me forward on the spider raft. So yeah, the Ninja flippers, success. They worked, and they were a little fun to use. We're actually going to officially test the Ninja flippers. The idea is that this one works better. When you go against the water, it slides forward. When you push back, it treads against the water, moving you forward. These are specifically used with the water spiders. If you used a regular flipper, it would move you backwards. You wouldn't move forward. It's like an idea of a reversed flipper. There it is. I'm going to use the testing it first. But that collapsible raft there works a lot better. I had to cheat and use an inner tube. But again, this wood would be covered in rabbit skin, or it would be covered in leather, creating a form of like really primitive lifesaver. had to cheat a little. And use this. You can use it just like that, just a little bit. You don't need to do a little ninja attack. Created a lot of water tread when I was using the water spider. This right here, it's very, if you fold it out too much, it gets a little flimsy. It doesn't have a lot of tread. It didn't rip, it didn't break or anything like that. Why I did that was to kind of clear up a mix-up that this is not the collapsing ore. People got the idea that, and I also fell for this mistake, but it's a big mistake. Along with the water spider going on your feet, that's not it. The water spider goes around your waist. It's a huge mistranslation thing. Just like Anthony, my friend, explained. Now, with this, a lot of people thought, and I got onto, that this went into this, and this was a collapsing ore, that you would have a fan or a tessin inside of the bamboo piece. This is not the case. The bamboo collapsing ore, water ore for your rafts, is a fan made of bamboo like this, okay? But alternatively, I have heard of a fan being used as a paddle. This is not this, okay? It's bamboo originally. And again, folds in like this, you fold it out, you're ready to use it. Bam. Okay? This right here, fold it out just a little bit so that all the thick metal pieces are still mainly there. And I recommend going against the water like this with the grain that the fan is on the back. So you want to hit the water like this so that it doesn't push the fan away from the spines and rip the fan off. Even then, I did it that way. I did it all ways. I messed with this thing pretty tough. Didn't ruin it at all. Didn't rip. Didn't. Again, when you open it all the way, it's way too flimsy. But then it's too hard. It's too hard to hold in the water at all. You just want to fan it out just a little bit, just enough to make a little oar or paddle, and it actually worked well, like this. Any further, and it got too flimsy and it was hard. This right here stayed hard, of course, the whole time, and it worked well. Something called a collapsible ore made of bamboo. It's just a bunch of splinters of bamboo. You use it as a stick so that way it's not going to break apart on you while you're jumping around traveling. Then you bust it out, fan it out, and you're ready to use it while you're in your raft.
what they would have done. This right here is called the floating bridge. This would have stretched all the way across a castle moat, and basically it would either be made of dry wood like this, some scrap dry wood that would be buoyant. It would actually float on water. If it would be some wet wood, it might sink on you and stuff like that. You don't want that. So you'd use bamboo, hollow out dry bamboo is the original one, as the material used in scrolls, I think. But yeah, mine only stretches so far, but this is an idea of it. So a floating bridge. Of course, they would anchor it by a sword or something of that sort.
As you'll probably see in this next clip, the buckets on the feet, complete failure. Didn't work at all. Maybe if it was larger buckets, maybe, but even then, even when I had these floating a little bit, it was just way too tipsy. It's way too tipsy. You just want to topple right over. It's not a very good idea. Just like with the water shoes, those little water spider shoes, it's way too tipsy. Even when they do that at the museum, they have to have a rope to drag themselves across and keep themselves up. Doesn't make sense. So the buckets thing, I did not like it at all. It did not work. Big fail.